He's editor-in-chief of Breitbart News and a New York Times best-selling author. And on this podcast, he brings deep research, prescient analysis, and world-class guests. He's Alex Marlow, and this is the Alex Marlow Show.
All right, Alex Marlow Show. It's a Cowboy Friday here on the Marlow Show. I am my parents' vacation rental in a alpine location just east of Los Angeles, having a nice time up at 7,000 square feet. Huge news day yesterday. I've got to say, it was a blast. It was a blast. So much happening, so much for everyone, so much to be excited about. But we'll start with the unbelievable story from the Wall Street Journal, Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein's friends sent him body letters for a 50th birthday album. One was from Donald Trump. This is it, guys. We finally got him. We finally got the bad orange man. This is the moment. The Wall Street Journal got him. The great reporters, Khadija Safdar and Joe Palazzolo, who one of them apparently has some connection to the Fusion GPS stuff. That's what I was seeing online on the X, the Everything app today. But reporters who are obviously trying to just cause trouble for Donald Trump. And Trump laid this out as if this is all fake, nothing good is in it, nothing accurate is in it. And he apparently reached out to Rupert Murdoch personally, who owns News Corporation, which owns Wall Street Journal, and said, don't do this. And they did it anyway. And now Trump's threatening to sue. The whole premise is absurd. Okay, so let me give you some key details. I'm sure at this point when you've got a few high level things by the time the show comes out. But I'm gonna give you some few things that maybe you hadn't thought of. Allegedly, this letter was written in 2003. Okay, so we're looking at what is the best case scenario. We're talking about a 2003 letter. The allegations against Epstein started, I think it was in 2006. And so this is long before that. And Trump, as far as we'd been told before, had no contact with Epstein beyond 2004. So this would have fit with what we know about Trump and Epstein and their relationships, considering that there's like 50 photos. How many photos are there? A dozen photos of Trump and Epstein, Trump and Ghislaine Maxwell, Trump and Melania and Ghislaine Maxwell. There's all these photos. So this is not actually, I don't know what the big deal is in terms of what they're trying to prove here. Okay, so let me read to you from this alleged note. Okay, and it's formatted as a third person conversation. Okay, voiceover. There must be more to life than having everything. The note begins. Then Donald Trump jumps in. Yes, there is, but I won't tell you what it is. Then Jeffrey Epstein says, nor will I, since I also know what it is. Donald Trump. We have certain things in common. Jeffrey. Jeffrey. Yes, we do. Come to think of it. Donald. Enigmas never age. Have you noticed that? Jeffrey. As a matter of fact, it was clear to me the last time I saw you. Donald, a pal is a wonderful thing. Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret. So, what's the obvious question here? If you've listened to this show, you've listened to me read Donald Trump quotes to you hours worth. You've all read them yourselves. Maybe some of you have read his books. I've read several of his books. They're all pretty good. They all sound the same. They all sound the same. It's the same tone. He sounds like his Truth Social truth bombs. Even his books sound that way. So whatever Trump writes on his own and whatever ghost writing that is done on his behalf sounds nothing at all like this, not even remotely close. Enigmas never age. Have you noticed that? And yet every single person in the Wall Street Journal newsroom and all their lawyers who reviewed this was like, yeah, we're going to go with it. That sounds good. That sounds good. So I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see the suit. I just don't know how they could have possibly thought this was a real thing. And also just that timeline is so important. Like, what are they trying to prove? What's the best case scenario? Apparently there's also some other doodle of a big breasted stick figure, and Trump had signed part of his signature. It didn't even look like the full signature, like over a pubic area, I guess, which is, I don't know. It sounds like something Trump might do, but like it's who cares? Trump does do a lot of doodles. I'm seeing some gaslighting online that Trump is not a doodle guy. Trump is absolutely a doodle guy. So that is wrong. He is a doodler, and his doodlers sell for a lot of money, but a lot less than Hunter Biden's art. So I got to say, so I don't think Trump's going to get in on a doodle grift anytime soon. But it has a very Harold and the Purple Crayon aesthetic to it. I think some of you will know what I'm talking about. But I don't know. Like, what is the best case scenario that they're trying to get out of this? So it's clearly a hit piece. And what happened immediately, which was kind of awesome to see was the whole MAGA coalition coming back together. A lot of people who were online trolls of President Trump and people who were detractors of his and people who were not happy with the way he'd been handling Epstein for a variety of reasons, either for lack of transparency or for not doing what they thought he ought to do on his own behalf, whatever it is, whatever your reason is. Everyone seems to be back now. Everyone seems to be back. The whole coalition, the band's back together with a unified goal of taking out the fake news media, especially Wall Street Journal and Rupert Murdoch, which is fine with me. I've never had any interaction with Murdoch. So it was a wild day online. Trump fully denies the Wall Street Journal claim that he sent the letter at all. Again, the letter sounds nothing like him. He is suing the Wall Street Journal according to his own truth bombs. And he says, I look forward to getting Rupert Murdoch to testify in my lawsuit against him. And his pile of garbage newspaper, the Wall Street Journal, that will be an interesting experience. And I think that this is Trump wants to get back in the driver's seat here, and I think he will. But it's also, I'm curious to see what happens from here, because Trump is, after that call for the release of all pertinent grand jury testimony in the Epstein case, he went to Truth Social, of course, but his post was based on the ridiculous amount of publicity given to Jeffrey Epstein. I've asked Attorney General Pam Bondi to produce any and all pertinent grand jury testimony subject to court approval. This scam perpetuated by the Democrats should end right now. So this is okay. I'm okay with this, but I'm mixed on it. Let me give you my reaction. First of all, I'm very happy for all my friends in the conservative commentariat and the online conservative world who all get to declare victory on this one. I'm happy for all of you. Yeah, some of my best friends were taking dub. We're taking L's on this one. Now they can get a little dub if something comes out. But I'm nervous what comes out will not be enough, and then we'll get another cycle that's just going to dog us, just going to go on. And I felt like we may have been on the verge of maybe a day or two away from being able to sort of move on a little bit. And we weren't going to totally move on because nor am I in the group that's calling on people to move on. For some people, it's their number one issue. But if Trump is really not going to give an inch on a personal level, I was content to go ahead and start talking about the other elements of the agenda. And again, I totally understand if that's not you. I'm not telling you to feel a certain way about this case. There is so much unanswered. But if we weren't going to get anything, I was happy to go talk about other stuff. Well, now we're going to talk about this. So maybe even as soon as the show comes out, we might have more information on what is going to be out there. And I'm curious to see how the public reacts to that, because now MAGA is back together. Daddy is home. Everyone's buying what Trump is selling. Everyone's on Trump's team and against Rupert Murdoch and the Wall Street Journal. The Wall Street Journal is doing some really curious stuff. I go over there a lot. I subscribe. I give them a lot of money. And they do some stuff I like, but a lot more wokeness slipping in, seeping in. And Trump also knows something, which is that he's got polling, and the polling suggests that he's doing great with Republicans despite all this. This was on CNN with Harry Enton, who's one of their pollsters, who does call it like he sees it. And this clip was unbelievable to watch. Check this out.
I mean, look, I think this one surprised me a bit because of all of these complaints online going after Trump and the Epstein files. You might think his approval ratings were going down, Republicans. If anything, they're going up. Republicans who approve of Trump, look at our CNN poll. The prior one, 86%. The one out this week, 88% were Republicans. How about Quinnipiac? The prior poll, 87% approve of Republicans. This week out, 90% were Republicans. If anything, Donald Trump's approval rating has gone up since this whole Epstein saga started. He is at the apex or close there too in terms of his popularity with Republican voters.
Okay, so let me talk directly to my extremely online constituency in the audience. I love you. I need you. I feel your pain. I mostly agree with you on this story, but just know that occasionally it does come to the fore that Twitter is not real life. And the people who are most animated online do not necessarily represent the entire base of the party. I was noting this. A friend of mine was sharing me. He does some internal polling, and he was sharing how the issues like Israel, Republicans are still overwhelmingly pro-Israel, despite the fact that the online rhetoric is so hostile and so negative to Israel these days. It is just not an accurate cross-section of the entire party. Now, it's an influential part of the party. I think it's a growing part of the party, the people who are feel like Epstein is a representative. This case is a representative of government corruption, of cover-ups, of a two-tiered system of justices, of the pedophile global cabal that has taken over the world and caused so many problems. And I get all that, and that's why I want all of it investigated, and I want the documents out, and I want Pam Bondi to stop misleading people. Not to say that she's I hate Pam Bondi or I'm demanding her getting fired or something, but she boxed this one for sure with the messaging, as I've been saying. And just note that the whole party isn't necessarily that enthusiastic about this. So for those of you who are super bummed out to see fissures in the party, they're not as real as you think. And those of you who feel like I will never let this go, no matter what happens, maybe one day it's okay. I'm not saying you have to today or anytime soon, but I'm saying maybe one day it's okay. Maybe. All right. So that's it. That's all I got so far on this. But let's hear some more from the CNN panel.
Republican voters, Epstein files, complaints, or not.
You just proved that not everything online is real in real life.
Who knew?
Amazing.
Twitter and X are not reality.
Is there any reason that you can find that this hasn't taken hold and hurt him?
Yeah. I mean, on X, all you hear about is the Epstein files. But how about out in the real public? Republicans who said the top issue was Epstein case. The answer is one, and not 1%. One responded. This is a great little finding that Ariel Edwards-Levy, who of course is part of our polling unit, found. Just one single Republican said that the nation's top problem is in fact the Epstein case. Not much of a surprise that therefore Donald Trump's approval rating has not suffered with Republicans because of the Epstein case. Because the bottom line is most Americans say it's not high up on their priority list.
Okay, so let me add some actual pushback to that, which is that a lot of the people in Trump's coalition are not necessarily Republicans or aren't committed Republicans. If you've heard me talk enough, I always say that I've been a Republican my whole life, but it's never been part of my identity. I never like to think of myself that way. I know I'm a conservative. I know I'm an America First guy. I know I'm a populist. I'm a Catholic and a Christian and I have all these identities, but I don't jump to Republican. It's just the party itself is just. It's not something that it captivates the imagination. And a lot of these people, particularly younger people, particularly people who see Donald Trump as an outsider who are coming into the political fray for the first time in the last election or two, those types of people might not be registered Republicans, but they might ultimately maybe vote for Trump in a general election like 2024. So that's one where I want to caution us a little bit there. I don't think Epstein is that far down the priority list for a lot of Trump voters. It might be for registered Republicans, but for Trump voters, I do think it's a big constituency. It's an important constituency, but it is not nearly as big as you would think based on X. But that said, I'm so happy for them that they seem to be making progress because those are my people too. All right, another monster story, just absolute monster story. Somehow, actually, I think even got more comments at Breitbart News than the Epstein stuff, which kind of shocked me, was the firing of Stephen Colbert. And as far as we know, they're not really sugarcoating it. He's getting fired by CBS for financial reasons. And we've got some footage, I guess, of the announcement. Let's check this out.
Before we start the show, I want to let you know something that I found out just last night. Next year will be our last season. The network will be ending The Late Show in May. And yeah, I share your feelings. It's not just the end of our show, but it's the end of The Late Show on CBS. I'm not being replaced. This is all just going away.
So much there. So Colbert is one of the worst guys in all of media. We are probably the number one anti-Colbert website at Breitbart. So this is a major scalp for us, and I'm very happy about it. And it's great because he's one of these guys that I think took his power in the entertainment world and just tried to use it for nefarious political purposes. And I think it's all great, but it's really important to note that second part of the statement, which is that it's not just that he's going away, it's that CBS thinks this whole medium is dying, and they're going to do something else. I don't know if it's going to be reruns or it's going to be game shows, but it's not going to be this. So this format seems to be going away, and that is very interesting just in terms of the history of this country, because the late night format was so powerful. Let's see if the other shows make it, the Kimmels and the late shows. Trump immediately jumped on Kimmel and said that I love that Colbert got fired. I hear that Kimmel is next. So funny. I got to read this one. I absolutely love that Colbert got fired. His talent was even less than his ratings. I hear Jimmy Kimmel is next. He has even less talent than Colbert. Greg Gutfeld is better than all of them combined, including the moron with capital M on NBC who ruined the once great Tonight Show. My Fight Club interview today with Nolte, I get his whole breakdown of all the various late night figures. So you should all check that out at Breitbart Confidential. So for premium members over there. So enjoy that. Kimmel immediately sees the writing on the wall for himself. He lashed out CBS. He yelled F you, I guess, or tweeted F you. No, this was a Instagram. Love you, Steven. F you and all you Sheldon's CBS. I don't know. Is Sheldon's like a Big Bang Theory reference or something? Is that where Sheldon comes from? Whatever it is. I know it's not my world. But I think he knows Kimmel's probably going to go away soon eventually. Let me break this down as soberly as I can, which I really shouldn't. I should have fun with it. It's a great news day. It's one of our best guys, or one of their best guys taken off the field. It's so great. A couple of things to note: that Colbert really had talent, and he started out with this shtick where he would impersonate Bill O'Reilly. Basically, that was the character. He's playing a character on the Daily Show with Jon Stewart, and then on something called the Colbert Report, which they wouldn't pronounce the T. They'd call it the Rapport or something. I don't know. I guess it was funny. And he would impersonate Bill O'Reilly, and it really worked for like 2-3 months. It made a lot of sense. It was pretty funny. And I like Bill O'Reilly. Those of you who are fans of mine know that I have a lot of affection for Bill. He's a one-of-a-kind character, a lot of longevity in radio and TV and in books in particular. And I think that but I understand the caricatures. It's a compliment to caricature people too. And his was pretty funny. But then as he got bigger, he got less into actually being funny and more into being political. I was looking at his recent slate of guests, and it's pencil neck Adam Schiff. It's the friendly fascist Francis Collins. Our photo, it's a lead story right now as we're recording at Breitbart News, is him yucking it up, drinking wine with Hillary Clinton, drinking a beer with Kamala Harris. He's with Joe Biden. He's with pencil neck again. I mean, that's who he likes to talk to. He's a left-wing activist. And when the Democrats need a go-to interview, they will go to a Stephen Colbert now. They won't go to someone that is respect in the media, not to say there is anyone. But I remember the campaign trail, they had a big thing where they got Colbert out. I think it was with Bill Clinton and Obama, and maybe Biden came out. And it's he was a huge part of the Democrat establishment. And that's really what this is about. It's not just about late night and about Colbert and about how he's a left-wing guy and he's obnoxious. It is a big part of the Democrat establishment getting deplatformed by a major American conglomerate. Now, a conglomerate has had a lot of drama and is trying not to cross Trump, because CBS is part of that whole Paramount merger drama that we've been witnessing, which I'm sure it didn't help Colbert in this case, because he is such a obvious should be Federal Election Commission crimes. I mean, the way he runs his show, it's all election interference on behalf of Democrats. And they use stuff like government spectrum that I talk about. You know, my Spectrum ads, they take advantage of a lot of that, the spectrum granted by the government and the airwaves that are provided by this government. And a lot of government money and funds and resources and infrastructure goes into CBS. And then they just use it to try to go after Trump. So great. Happy to see him go. And we'll see what happens next to the late night format. And Colbert himself, I'm guessing he'll podcast. Will he go to CNN? Will he go to CNN, take out Gutfeld from CNN? He'd lose, though. So I don't know if he wants to do that, because he would lose. Like, it wouldn't work. He would not be as popular as Gutfeld. I don't think. I think Gutfeld's just, his format is just more appealing to people. It's just easier to watch. It just becomes political monologuing, and that's the essence of what Colbert is all about. So the audience obviously melting down, and that's great. And all of that we'll have all the latest at Breitbart as we have a celebratory season. And congrats to all of you. We had a story at Breitbart announcing this that was the #1 most popular piece of content in the Meta platform in the world, not just even in the U.S., in the world. When we put this out, It's the Media Research Center did this study. 99% of late night TV host guests have been liberal so far this year. And I just wonder who is the one conservative they had. And, a lot of Nazi comparisons. It's just he's never making news for being funny. He doesn't get those viral clips. He doesn't get those viral moments that you see on social media. If you ever hear him report it, it's just something left-wing that he said. And again, he's not without talent. So he sold out. He made a lot of money. And I hope he's happy with his decisions because the Democrats are less powerful than ever. Maybe he's rich, but he's losing his job. All right, we know that good coffee is kind of easy to find. There's a lot of good coffee out there, but great coffee, that's a different story. And when I was introduced to Crockett Coffee, I knew this was something special. This is roasted to perfection in small batches on purpose by experts who love the taste of great coffee and are conscientious about how it's made and who's making it. It's roasted in our nation's heartland and it's delivered fresh to your home. When you enjoy Crockett Coffee, you're also supporting an anti-communist, pro-American brand of coffee founded by our friends Clay Travis and Buck Sexton, who are good broadcasters and are apparently dang good at making a cup of coffee as well. The perfect type of thing to sip at a mountain campfire like a Western settler or in your office while you're doing a podcast. It is just really high quality stuff. You guys know I'm a coffee snob, married to an Italian. I like to hit that dark roast. They also sent me some mild roast, which was delicious. They got a light roast. They got a decaf. They got a mushroom organic blend. That's the new hotness. They got K-Cups. Lots of different options for you. And part of your support goes to Tunnel to Towers Foundation, which is a great way to give back and remind people that Crockett Coffee, people there, they pledge to never forget. Easy. Go online, crockettcoffee.com. Crockett like it as in Davy Crockett. crockettcoffee.com. Use my first name, Alex. You get 20% off your first order. That's crockettcoffee.com. Use my name, Alex, as the promo code for 20% off. Good people and a dang good cup of coffee. You guys know I would not endorse it if it wasn't quite delightful. So good stuff there. Happy to report that. All right. Other cool things that I want to bring to your attention. Got some positive and some negative. Golden age, consumer sentiment rises as fear of tariff-led inflation fade. John Carney, I watched him react to this news live, or I listened to him. We were on our editorial call. But the University of Michigan preliminary consumer sentiment index rose 261.8, beating a 61.5 forecast. Second consecutive month of increases, suggesting that Americans are growing more optimistic about price pressures, which is just, it's one of these things where we keep being told that the economy, Donald Trump's economy is so bad, and yet all the indications are that it's actually pretty good. And we heard forever that Joe Biden's economy wasn't that bad, and then I still think we're suffering from the Biden inflation. So just another great sign. The Federal Reserve Governor Christopher Waller, he said that he may dissent if the Fed does not want to lower interest rates in July. So huge pressure building to lower interest rates. I think it'll happen in September, but I think there's a Fed meeting coming up, and could there be some sort of an emergency drop in interest rates? I know I'm really rooting for it. I really think the high interest rates are eating people alive in this country. Increasingly, they've been going on for so long. They were used to fight inflation, and the more evidence we see is that inflation is just not the same as it was. We're seeing huge evidence of deflation in certain sectors, and the sectors where there is inflation, it is generally below expectations and is not super high. And I think that it's time. It's time to start cutting and to give people that boost. But remember, the reason why rates are so high was to fight the Biden inflation, which we're not seeing. Fun one from Joel Pollack at Breitbart News. Gavin Newsom is suing Trump for over $4 billion in cuts to California's high-speed rail to nowhere, which we call the choo-choo train to nowhere. This is one of these things that has been an ongoing joke in California since I was in diapers, that we were going to get a high-speed rail and the government was going to pay for it. And now you got to wonder, like, do we even want a high-speed rail? I mean, the way things are, I mean, shouldn't we work on getting those driverless cars going maybe? It's, one day we'll probably have the piloted drones where we'll be doing traffic above the city. That's probably going to happen one day. So are we really going to be building bullet trains now? It'd be a good infrastructure project if you could do it efficiently, but we've been talking about it for 30 years. And the bullet train, which was scheduled for 2020, is now scheduled for, this is not a joke, 2040 and 4 times the price. And it was supposed to link San Francisco and LA. That was the design. And now it's apparently not going to do that. We only have one new high-speed rail in the state, and that's connecting the town of Merced, which is in inland California, to Silicon Valley. So basically, because Silicon Valley, the Menlo Valley area of California is unaffordable for working class people. So they did build a train, but only so that working class Americans could live an hour and a half outside of the city and then bullet train into their working class job serving the tech elite. And then they can go back to their normal neighborhood, which is, so they have a train to do that. So it's basically just a handout to make lives easier and slightly cheaper for the elite in the richest area of the country, which is Silicon Valley. So that's where we build a bullet train, and that's it. So this is awesome stuff. Sean Duffy's not having it, Trump's not having it, but and they're cutting. It's only a few billion in total, but I like the principle of it. You can't keep lying to the public about these trains that are not coming, and you got to cut it. It's now 4 times the price tag, and it's 20 years late minimum. Forget about it. No, thank you. And this reminds me how dysfunctional California is, because the Mamdani obsession continues, and rightfully so. I'm semi-obsessed myself. Speaking of Joel's got a big story on this exact front, the point I'm about to make, his Blue State Blues column today for us at Breitbart, on how Mamdani headlines scream socialism coming, but Newsom and Bass got there first. This is one of the most important points we can make right now. I've been starting to make this, and I think I'm going to make this sort of a go-to, which is that we're curious what socialism will look like in New York City. We've got it in California, and it's going terrible. We need help. Think about the point I've been making about the parks, about how my HOA's park, perfect, slice of heaven, pristine, the park in MacArthur Park where they were just protesting fentanyl, homeless, tent cities, drugs, crime. I mean, that's what a public park is like in the city. And it's all because of the socialist government that's prioritized illegal aliens first, criminals second, and citizens third. I mean, that's the priority list, and we've been doing it out here. So we have high taxes with a deficit. We have more crime, more illegal immigration, unusable school systems. We still deal with all the trans nonsense. Misty pulled some Mamdani clips for us. Let's see what she grabbed. This is about him talking about abolishing prisons. Let's check this one out.
Are prisons obsolete?
Whew, coming through with the quotes, coming through with the titles of the books. I have to read that, actually. I haven't read that as yet. But I think that, frankly, I mean, what purpose do they serve? Right? I think we have to ask ourselves that, which is that, I think a lot of people who defend the carceral state, they defend the idea of it and the way it makes them feel.
This is where I feel like their populism is idiotic compared to our populism, is that I think we have too many people incarcerated in this country. The incarceration rates are insane, and the recidivism rate is insane. And I would like to figure out a way to not have that much. But no one proposes any solution other than to not have prisons, defund the police, no cash bail, just let more criminals out in the street. That's the only solution you got, is fewer prisons. Maybe we shouldn't have prisons. This is again where the left likes it, where the criminals control the society. We've had this experiment in LA where criminals are, remember, we got all the laws that even the Democrats don't agree with, but the laws in the state where you got to steal, $950 for it to be a felony. And thus anything under $950 of theft is not going to get prosecuted. There's a terrible record under the George Gascons, who is DA of LA and San Francisco, of going after crime, even violent crime, trying to let everyone off the hook as fast as they can. It's no way to run a state. We've already had this. So just know this about New York. And again, I've endorsed Mamdani. I'm an accelerationist in this regard. I want to see the experiment play out. But just know that that's where we're coming from. All right, let's play. I got one more Mamdani. Let's hear where this goes.
My platform is that every single person should have housing. And I think faced with these two options, the system has hundreds of thousands of people unhoused.
So he's talking about housing for everyone and people who are unhoused, which is, I guess you don't want to say homeless anymore. But man, he has just got this compelling presentation when he talks about this stuff.
right? For what? And if there was any system that could guarantee each person housing, whether you call it the abolition of private property or you call it, just a statewide housing guarantee, it is preferable to what is going on right now. And I think that people try and play like gotcha games about these kinds of things. And it's like, look, I care more about whether somebody has a home.
This is, again, we've done this in California. And if he cared, he's not a student. He's just a personality. He's an influencer. He's a social media guy. We did this in California. We did the thing where we built all these 4-walled dwellings for people, and it didn't reduce homelessness. Because the problem with people is mental illness, addiction, schizophrenia. It is people who lose their way and get caught up in the wrong stuff and have addictions and conditions. It's not just about you have 4 walls. You can't just give people 4 walls and act like that's okay. And we do have a housing crisis in terms of prices. We got to work on that. But let's talk about something real. This is my point about his points. His solution to crime is abolish prisons, and his solution to homelessness is give everyone a house. These are not real solutions. These are stuff that you say to attract really low information voters who are not really a part of the political process. So that's the trap, and I think it's important for us to point that out to everyone because these are easily defeatable arguments. So don't be intimidated. But wow, breaking news right now: at least 3 deputies killed in a possible explosion at Los Angeles sheriff's facilities. Wow, unbelievable. We'll have details for you, Breitbart.com on this one. And I can't ascribe the motive yet. Who knows? Maybe it's an accident, but you know where your mind goes when you hear a breaking item like that. Where does it go? So it goes down to the road where you think this is the same moment the Democrats want ICE agents unmasked. They want law enforcement to be harassed in this country. They're pro-criminal. The criminal vote is a very strong constituency of the Democrat Party. I go through this in great detail in Breaking the Law out in 3 weeks. 2.5 weeks, getting there, coming close. Gonna be big, guys. Gonna be big. Gonna reset a lot of conversations. But I talk about this, that they really pander to that criminal vote. Let's see, 1 or 2 more. Oh, I got. Liz Warren backing up Mamdani, saying government grocery stores could have some real success. Just a person who's never observed a communist country. These are. It shocks me that they have these ideas, and she's a Harvard professor, supposed to be an intellectual. She's never seen Cuba, not aware of what. It's just bread lines. That's what it turns into. It turns into bread lines. They're basically openly advocating for bread lines. So we got to be good. We got to be smart, and we could be dumb. There is a bill out, and this is from Congresswoman Maria Salazar of Florida, suggesting that Trump owes God a favor and should repay the debt by signing amnesty. We're not doing any amnesty. This is a non-starter. The only thing I like about these bills is that you can get people on record who you should primary and vote out, because you can't trust anyone who hasn't got the picture. We spent 10 years explaining this. We're not doing any amnesty. We're America first. We care about American citizens. We're a country of law and orders, and you're not going to get a reward for breaking the law. We're not going to do that. Federal immigration law, you break it, you don't get a reward. So we're not doing that. That's not what this party is all about. So it's anyone who's not internalized that and understood that fundamental principle is, top 5, maybe top 1 principles that have gotten us to where we are at this moment with Donald Trump in both houses of Congress. Then if you don't get it, then go, see ya. We don't have time for you. So that's the only reason why I like these things. So, but just note that the White House pushing back robustly, which is good, but it just reminds you that we cannot lose a single election, and we have to be on top of our game all the time. We have to be in a wartime footing, and we have to be incredibly aggressive with our pursuits in terms of politics and cultural change that we're making. We've never had so much momentum, and we cannot take that for granted. We have to be fighting hard every day. And I see it online, the hot news week. I love that. I'd love to see a hot news week, particularly in the middle of the summer. I think that's it. That'll be today's show. I got to go get back to the children anyway. It's a summer Friday. I think we covered a lot of great ground here. That's the Marlow Show. Thanks to Misty for putting it together, and to all of you in the Marlow audience for telling 10,000 friends and family members. Talk to you next time.